Hey there! There are lots of interesting artifacts buried in the ground and under the water. For thousands of years, people on our planet have been losing and hiding their valuables. And they've been waiting until today for a treasure hunter to find them. Some are looking for ancient coins and treasures. Others are searching for military artifacts left in the swamps and forests after numerous military conflicts. In this video, we will tell you some stories about the incredible WWII finds from all over the world. Let's get right to the chase. A machine gun. A few years ago, an amateur digger from Russia set out, as he himself says, not far from his own home, to walk around with a metal detector for half an hour. But almost immediately it began to rain heavily. Afraid of getting his metal detector wet, the searcher decided to return home. As he started to walk back, the detector started to sound. It turned out to be a machine gun. It wasn't deep, practically under the moss. The find was in good condition and suitable for restoration. It was most likely a Czech ZB-26 submachine gun. The ZB-26 submachine gun is one of the machine guns that were developed after the First World War as a result of the experience gained during the battles. It was and is widely used in various wars and conflicts from the second quarter of the 20th century until today. It made its debut in the 1930s, Chinese Civil War, Spanish Civil War, World War II, and Greek Civil War, as well as in the Middle East, still in use today, Indochina, Korea, and South America, and has proven to be a reliable and robust weapon. It's unknown what the guy has done with this find. It's illegal to possess automatic weapons in Russia. A German officer. In 2016, near the village of Nowy Dwor, Polish military archaeologists discovered the remains of a German officer in full uniform with weapons and awards. Remains of his green uniform and buttons were well preserved. Judging by the Iron Cross, the soldier fought in the First World War and died at the very end of the Second World War. He also had a badge for his wounds and half of a death medallion. Most likely, he was buried by his comrades, who took the other half of the badge. Nearby, there was a Mauser 98 carbine, not badly preserved in the sandy soil. The officer was later buried in the military cemetery. A weapon cache. An interesting World War II weapons cache was found in the Netherlands. There were several iron boxes with arms and munitions. There is not much information about this find. Most likely it was a cache of partisans who fought against the Nazis. This is evidenced by the fact that the weapons were made in England and secretly supplied to the rebels by the British during the war. The weapons are not badly preserved, they were well packed in iron boxes and moisture didn't get inside. The Battle of Kursk. Every year, there are search operations at the site of the famous Battle of Kursk. Boys and girls come from all over Russia to look for the dead soldiers on the fields of the World War II. In this story, we are going to show footage from just a few days of searching. The iron and bones of fallen German and Soviet soldiers are scattered all over the place. Everything can be found here. Large parts of tanks, ammunition, weapons, and bones of soldiers are mixed here with the burnt earth. One of the most interesting finds this time was the remains of a German soldier with a dog tag. He wasn't buried, but simply abandoned in one of the trenches and covered with earth. A Soviet Maxim submachine gun, complete and in good condition, was also found. Even the thin metal barrel cooler box was intact. At the site of the T-34 tank explosion, many parts were collected. They will be used for the restoration. Several dozen fallen Red Army soldiers were recovered during this expedition. Some of them had death medallions with their personal data. Searchers say that usually it's possible to establish the identity of less than 10% of the found soldiers. Often, soldiers signed their personal belongings, which helps a lot in identifying the dead. In the winter of 1941, the KV-1 heavy tank slid off frozen logs, crossing the Don River, and sank. Later, when the barge moving along the river hit the tank gun and was damaged, it was decided to blow the tank up. An eyewitness said that after the explosion, the tank hatch flew high out of the water and fell into the water again several meters away. The explosion damaged the tank severely but couldn't destroy it completely. Nowadays, there are only a few tanks of this model left. The KV series tank is a Soviet heavy tank from the Second World War. In total, from 1939 to 1942, 3,163 KV-1s of various modifications were produced. 3 of them were equipped with a flamethrower instead of a machine gun. The tank had thick armor. The very first meeting with the KV shocked the Nazis. German tanks couldn't penetrate the armor. For example, a German 50mm tank gun projectile could penetrate the vertical side of the KV only from a distance of 300 meters, and the inclined front armor only from a distance of 40 meters. Anti-tank artillery was also ineffective, so armor-piercing projectile 50mm PaK-38 anti-tank gun was able to destroy the KV in favorable conditions at a distance of only less than 500 meters. The fire of 105mm howitzers and 88mm anti-aircraft gun was more effective. In 2013, it was decided to raise this combat vehicle from the water. Specialists scanned the bottom of the river to determine the exact location of the KV-1. Due to the difficult bottom topography and weather conditions, the operation was postponed until spring. And finally, from the 29th of May to the 7th of June 2014, with the forces of the National Rescue Agency, KV-1 was lifted from the bottom and transported to shore. Local people provided active assistance to the search group. For experienced agency specialists, this was the 55th, the most difficult vehicle recovery. Heat, strong currents, and zero underwater visibility brought the most trouble. In addition, the tank was sandwiched between the pillars of the old crossing. KV-1, covered with a meter-deep layer of silt, had been pulled for 4 days with a specially designed winch, first 60 meters underwater and then 20 meters on the ground. A huge number of local residents gathered to watch the legendary tank recovery. After the operation was complete, the tank was delivered to the military unit, where it's being restored. Then the KV-1 will be sent to Moscow to the museum in Kubinka. It will be the first vehicle of this type in the famous museum exposition. That's all for today. We will be heading to the city of St. Petersburg soon for more exciting stories. Support our channel by signing up for a sponsorship or sending us a super thank. Good luck to all!